Why is time a precious treasure? Can time be replaced?
Well, I think, Luke, that you immediately realize at a certain point in your life that you are free. Maybe about 20 years old, you come through that point of existential angst. I'm free, period. I'm free to be me, period. And it's a terrifying moment, right? And then you very quickly realize that everything that you possess, your money, your power, your sexuality, whatever it is, those things are very temporary, right? In a certain sense of the word. And they're all predicated on how you spend time, because time buttresses or holds everything up, doesn't it? So I think, you can have all your financial wealth, everything, if you have the time. If you run out of time, well, you're expunged, you're dead in this planet, right? So I think it's really important to realize time is the only thing, the only physical entity you cannot get back. Like my experience with sand on a beach is slipping away. Like gold, in a sense. I always imagine that if I had, the tiny granules of gold, it'd be the same thing. You would never be able to hold them. Right?
What is mindfulness?
Well, especially in the modern age, I think we're filled with diversions, in a way, aren't we? I mean, things that just take up our time. The cell phone, the idiot box. It's filled with data and information. I get the BBC app, and there's 20 stories, and there's sub-stories and sub-stories, and the way it goes, right? And so very quickly, if you're not careful, that time is just spent. And there you are, it's night, and you sleep, and you do it again the next day. But I think you consciously, there's mindfulness, isn't it? You consciously have to see where you are at this moment and reflect. Look, it's all about reflection, I think.
What is your duty? Why should we give back to society?
Well, I think, look, that you, first and foremostly, as they say, you have to realize that you have a duty to take in your life experience and give it back to your children, grandchildren, family, friends, society, right? And so retirement cannot be a time that you play golf. It must be a time, I believe, that you go to a public forum, civic center, whatever it is, and you share what you've learned in your lifetime. Like I was mentioning earlier, I have a friend who's 90, and he teaches art history once a week. And come on, you've got all this expertise to give back to young people. And look, my experience, we have a lot of small talk sessions throughout the city, Some at school, some in a library, or some in a bookstore, as you know. And my experience with people is they want to talk and they want to reflect. And no one, virtually, wants to talk and reflect with them, right? And I think that this happens tremendously. A man told me the other day, and I was really shocked. He said his grandmother was 85. And she got up in the morning at 5:30 or something, had some breakfast, turned the television on, and then sat there to around 10 o'clock at night. And I thought, shame on her for not getting out and walking and joining a group and sharing your life. Because everyone has something to give, Luke. And if they don't want to, it's their fault. And shame on them. Well, as I say again, it's disgusting, my belief.
How do we change the thinking of old people?
I think the biggest problem with many old people, in my humble experience, is that they actually believe they're old. So once you believe anything, you are. So I don't know I'm old. I think I'm 30, you see. And that's also, it's got its own, interesting situation. Actually, look, funny story. I changed my profile picture on Facebook, and and I got all these people. That's a nice picture. And I got an email or a Facebook posting from a lady that I have not talked to for 45 years. And she said to me, "You haven't changed at all." You haven't. Impossible. Of course you've changed. There's no way your body looks like it did 45 years ago. It's impossible. So I wrote her back, you're very kind. And she wrote me back, no, it's true. It's true. If I saw you on the street, I would know who you are. And I thought to myself, how curious this statement is, in a way. Because she believes it to be true. I don't believe I'm 15, but I do feel like I'm 30. Honestly, I'm healthy enough to feel this way. So I do think to change old people's minds is difficult, for starters. But it can be done in the sense that they have to stop. Self-pity is a great word, Luke. And so many old people have told me, if I were your age again, I would blah, blah, blah. Guess what, baby? You're not 50, 40, 30 years old. Tuesdays with Maury Schwartz, he said, I'm happy to be 40 and to have been 40, to have been 50, 60, 70. I never want to be 50 again. For instance, I've been 50. And I think that's what you have to say to people. Value life. And yes, it's going to stop. And yes, people are afraid of death. I don't get why, but they are. Maybe it's a religious situation. Who knows why? But many people are afraid to die. But the great quote is, I think, is an interesting one. You know, what did you feel before you were born? Right? What did you feel? Well, you didn't feel because you were not born yet. So what will you feel when you die? You'll feel nothing. Nothing at all. Right? But what you do have to do is, in that space between birth and death, you do have to contribute something to this great world, this great society. I believe that defines who you are. You have to give something to the common good. Have to. And if you don't, once again, shame on you. And it's that simple. Shame on you.
What is the tree of opportunity? What is a given? How do you effect change?
Well, the tree of opportunity, I believe, basically is that everyone, given their givens, as they say, that I am a man, I am such an age, I do have children, I am a certain ethnicity, certain nationality, given all those things, I have every opportunity in the world, if I'm willing to spend the time. So let's say I wanted to do something bizarre, Luke. I wanted to be president of something. The path is possible. I could get on the path. Now, given the givens of age and time and lack of political context, it would probably not be achievable. But I could most assuredly get on the path. There's no question. You know, and that's what I mean, that we're all presented with whatever. You know. And the wonderful part about getting older, Luke, you know, really, if I may, is that all the things that you think you could do or should you become presented, right? So you could have been a musician, let's say. You play the guitar very well. You realize that you have that option, and you've opted not to pursue it, right? Whatever. So the options become clear, right? They become clear. Like for me, my options in life are very, very lucid. They're right in front of me. Now, whether I choose those various options really is a private decision, but you can see what they are. You know yourself spiritually, intellectually, philosophically, psychologically. I know who I am very well, and I think I'm not atypical. I think if you sit back just a bit at 62 years old, you know who you are, what you're good at, what you could do, right? You know your complications of life, which we all have. Everyone is not unique in the way they live in this first world. We all live the same. We all have the same frustrations and fears and anxieties. But get on with it. You know, get on with it, look. It means that it really is just action. I believe that you affect change through action. You act, there's a result, right? Negative or positive, there is a result. If I sit back here and do nothing, right? There's no result. Like, if I wanted to go somewhere, pick a country, you know, Kenya. If you want to go to Kenya, for instance, you could go to Kenya. You know, get on a plane, end up in Nairobi, deal with the chaos, and already you know what you want to see in Kenya, for instance, right? It's all before you, Luke. It's up to you, man. I believe.